Good morning, everyone. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. How's everyone doing? Come on in. Come on in. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time, let me know where you're tuning in from so I can give you a shout out. Sorry, guys, I'm late. Had a busy morning, but I'm here. Good morning, Snow Cone. Good morning, Pink Boss. Kylie Lona, good morning. Finesse, good morning. Let me see. Let me put this thing here. So let me just quickly introduce myself. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Aisha Chidola. I'm an immigration lawyer. I present clients in all 50 states, the United States and internationally with their immigration matters. You can schedule a call by calling 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404-333-8751. We'll be happy to schedule for a consultation. Chicago in the house. I had Fab says first time here. Good morning. Good morning to Nate Dowdu. I'm from New Jersey. How are you? Longest time. Good morning, Emily Lash. Boo for the Boola says, good morning, meet your lives. I feel so glad being here today. I know I haven't seen you in a long time. Good morning from Jacksonville, Florida. All of you in Florida, how are you holding up with all the craziness going on in Florida? Okay, so just for knowledge, can you touch on what's going on in Florida, please? Been watching you from Ohio. Good morning. I've been following you for a long time. I would like to talk to you. Gabriella, I'll be happy to talk to you. Just call the office to schedule a consultation. 407-995-6567. Good morning from Roswell, Virgo. I'm in Roswell too. And Mayana from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so feel free to ask your questions and I'll be happy to answer the questions you have. Somebody asked to touch on Florida real quick. So basically, I'm sure most of you in the immigrant world have heard that Florida has basically passed this law is going to be implemented as of July 1st, where basically, if you're an undocumented immigrant, life is going to be difficult for you, essentially. So I don't have everything off head because I don't have the laws in front of me, but some of the things that, you will be concerned about is employment, in Florida, and it making sure that all employers are going through E-Verify before they allow anyone into their employment. Also checking records or your immigration status when you go to the hospital, transportation, people that take buses, Greyhound, Uber, all those things. So it puts you at risk. So when they're talking about this, the rule itself is talking about those who are undocumented, meaning the understanding, and I say the understanding because when these types of rules come out, things evolve and things change. The understanding of the rule, Cleopatra, thank you. The understanding is that basically for those people who came into the country undocumented, these are the people that's targeting. But if you guys know anything about the way laws work, especially when they're new, they're going to be people that are going to be caught in that bubble, meaning they're going to be raised, they're going to be people that are caught up in it, even though they don't necessarily fall in the rule. And that's why, I recently did a Know Your Rights, video. If, after this live, you can go on my timeline and look for it. It's just basically telling you things that you have rights to. So even if you're an immigrant and you're not a U.S. citizen, there's certain things that are human rights, constitutional rights that everyone that's living in the United States has. For instance, they can't just search you. It's one thing when they stop you in a car, and say maybe, let's pat you down, to make sure you don't have any weapons, but they can't raid into your house or start searching your house and stuff like that. And you should be able to assert your rights. Like if you fall into that category, sometimes, of course, people are fearful. So one of the things that you can do, there's actually something called the red card. Just type in immigration red card on Google. And you can actually print a copy of that card and just have a copy with you, a copy in your house or wherever. So that if, let's say they come raid wherever you are, let's say you live in an immigrant community, there are a lot of immigrants there, so the odds of them coming there is high. You want to just download that and print that out so that if someone comes to your house, you can always pass that to them saying that, basically you not speak to an immigration officer, Customs and Border Patrol officer without your lawyer present, these are my rights, these are my whatever. And honestly, at this point, you just really have to lay low. If you're planning to move to Florida, I definitely don't recommend moving to Florida right now because we really don't know what's going to happen with this. I mean, it feels so unconstitutional, but I really don't know what's going to happen, until basically they start implementation and we'll know how bad it is. But you really need to lay low. Like you can't be using public transportation right now because, you run any risk, especially if you are in a city where there are a lot of immigrants there. So that's really all, I really can say about it, honestly, because, I don't know what else to say. Like, I can't change the unfortunate law. We just kind of have to wait till July to see what happens. Someone is asking, okay, so what if you have a pending case? If you have a pending case, I believe that you should be fine. That being said, again, these are all things that are speculative because we don't know until after July 1st what is going to happen. But again, this rule is technically for people who are undocumented, and my assumption, I think I've read somewhere where it says basically you don't have anything going on. So if you have a valid case, just have your stuff with you, have your receipts with you. To show that you have a pending case, if you have a marriage case, that you have a pending case, just have your documents with you or photocopy of your document just so that if you're stopped, and let's say you're not able to assert your right, you have those things to show for you. Okay. Does USCIS notify your spouse when you file I-751 waiver? Can one use text messages to prove abuse, a bona fide relationship? Does one need consent like in the case of audio recordings? So Ellie, this is a good question. So first question is, what kind of waiver are you filing? So typically, if you're filing a waiver for I-751, which for those of you who don't know, it's for removal of conditions on your green card without your spouse. So if you're doing it based on abuse, USCIS cannot notify your abuser. They cannot notify your spouse, due to your safety, right? So they cannot notify your spouse, and you also cannot call and do an inquiry. You have to actually, send a letter or do a hotline inquiry. So that's the first question. The second part of the question is, I don't know, the questions are a little bit mumbled with another question, so I'm not seeing it very well. The second question you asked is, can you use text messages to prove bona fide relationship? Yeah, if you're able to show that text is associated with that person's phone number, I always say to people, when you're sending text messages, it's always good to unlabel it where we can see the person's number and see that that's that person's number. You can use it depending on the content of the text message. You don't need consent to send text messages. Or whatever it is. However, like if it's recording, one of the things in recording is you want to just make sure that you belong to, a lot of states are one-party recording states. So if you live in one of those one-party recording states, then you're fine to transcribe it because, you can't send recording, but you can send a transcription of it. So that's what you can do, Eli. What about Maryland? There's nothing going on in Maryland. This is just Florida law. Why is USCIS issuing 48 months extension to some people and they approve in some cases? It's not just to some people. Everyone that has an I-751 case pending right now is entitled to a 48-month extension. If you've not gotten it, it's just because it just hasn't reached you, but everyone is going to be getting one. And the reason why is because the cases are taking much longer than they would like. So they're giving people that just to reduce the backlog of people scheduling InfoPass so that they can go into USCIS office to get a stamp, of like an I-551 stamp or a temporary green card stamp. So that's why they're giving it to everyone. That being said, you can't really control people's approval. Approvals are done by different offices. So it depends on the officer reviewing your case. It depends on what they need from your case. Every case is different. So not everyone is going to have the same approval date. Okay. Does it go for people who are waiting for their VAWA approval? Okay, I already answered this question. Jay says, how can I stop someone to come to the USA on a visitor's visa because they fraud with me and now wants to leave county and want to work USA under the table? How can I stop, please? I'm not really sure that I understand the question you're asking. Someone in the US or they're coming to the US. I don't really understand the question, but you can check on the USCIS website. We help immigrants, so I don't really have any advice for you unless it's to help an immigrant. My spouse started filing for his dad who resides abroad while he was a green card holder. He recently got citizenship and now we're married. Will filing adjustment of status for me affects how long his father's case is processed back home? Let's scratch right on back. So your spouse filing for his dad while his dad was a green card holder, he's not eligible. He's going to actually need to start another application because that's a breaking continuity of eligibility. You cannot file for a parent until you're a U.S. citizen. So he's going to refile for his dad. For you, he can file for you. The only thing is you want to make sure that if he's filing for both of you, that he meets the income requirements to show that both of you are sponsors. Okay, so show that he can sponsor both of you financially. Christiana on YouTube says, good morning, please. My sis submitted a VAWA alone I-360 and it's 2 years now. Yesterday, she still received another prima facie. Is she still fine or getting late? She's still fine. Most VAWA cases take 2 years, 2.5 years, but she's still in the window where she should be hearing something right now. Cleopatra says, I'm in Jamaica on my advanced parole. How long can I stay? Well, good for you. That you get to go out of the country. They don't necessarily give you any timeline, but for me, I always just say, try to not stay more than 30 days and just come back, and just wait out here. Okay. Ms. Cupid says, how long does it take to get a VAWA receipt? I filed March 9th. March 9th. Listen, your guess is as good as mine. VAWA right now is taking a ridiculously long time to give receipts. I mean, that's why they moved it to Nebraska to reduce the backlog, but it's still backlogged. So I can't even really tell you the reason why. I really don't know why it's taking that long. Someone's asking, do you do EB1s? No, I don't do investment or employment-based immigration. I just do like family humanitarian-based cases. What if your 2-year green card expires and you have not received the other one yet? As long as you filed for removal of condition, you must have filed for removal of condition if your 2 years about to expire. And if you've not received it and your 48 months has expired, you can schedule an info pass so that you can go into USCIS so they can stamp you with a temporary green card. I got my FAQs letter. You mean your prima facie letter for VAWA? They say they will respond to me in 120 days, which is in August. Does that mean I'm getting my green card soon? No, it doesn't mean that. And I'm not sure what you mean. They'll respond to you. Your prima facie letter is just telling you that you meet the minimum requirements of approval. Okay. Can someone file an I-485 while USCIS is actively reviewing your I-130 petition? If you're eligible, yes, you can. Meaning that you're not like in a family preference and you're in an immediate relative class. Milton says, is it safe to travel with a combination card? I got it through VAWA. I came to US through the border. I have no criminal record. Milton, as long as you have no deportation proceeding going on. So I'm answering this question from a surface level. I don't know your case, so I cannot tell you in particular. But if the scenario is that you entered across the border, you never had any removal, nobody ever knew you across the border, never had any criminal record, now you have advanced parole, technically, yes, you can travel with an advanced parole because you have been approved on advanced parole. Now, if you have a removal proceeding that you don't know about or whatever it is, blah, 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 you want to check on that before you leave the country. My friend applied for I-485 marriage base along with his children he had with his ex who are in another state. He was scheduled for an interview along with his children in the state where the children are. Okay, it's like this question is not finished. The question is not finished, so you can just type up the rest of it. Aderito Katemba says, I need help. Happy to help. Call 47995-6567. The number is also in our profile. Hi, this is Justin, first time from Rhode Island. Hello, welcome. Because of the 6-month limit on tourist visas, is it advisable to get married to your fiance who's a green card holder because of how long the process is taking? I cannot advise you on whether to marry someone or not. I need to understand what your status is, what is happening before I say anything. Damien says, what about traveling to Florida undocumented? Do not do it. Don't do it. Florida's crazy right now. You know, it's not something that I would recommend until the laws kind of settle in and we see what exactly is happening. But if you can avoid Florida right now, and you know, these are obviously not everybody can. There's some people that live there, but I'm saying, like, if you don't live in Florida and you can avoid Florida right now, try and avoid Florida. So this person says, what if your 2-year green card expires and you still not received a new card? Do you recommend traveling with the letter? I'm assuming you're talking about the extension of your green card letter. If you want to travel with that, you can. Just keep in mind that sometimes they may call you for secondary inspection. Secondary inspection is what happens when you enter back into the country after the normal inspection. They'll say, come in here, let's talk to you. And sometimes they can question you about your marriage to make sure that you have a legit marriage. You know, and just present all your documents showing that you have your case pending and all that stuff. So that could happen. So it's up to you. Alika Parchman, I need your service. I'm currently living in Florida. I want to start filing. We're happy to help you. Our number is right there, 47995-6567. After receiving a receipt from USCIS for VAWA, what next should you be expecting? Biometrics. After biometrics, you should be expecting a prima facie determination letter if you meet the minimum requirements to be classified as a VAWA victim. Katie says, what is the average timeline for green cards after VAWA approval, please? 6 to 8 months is what I would say. Is most people fall somewhere in that window. My wife sent in my case. I can take like 3 more questions. Good morning. My wife sent in my case from June last year, and up to now, I've not even gotten a work permit. So you can just follow up with them. Call USCIS. Call the 1-800 number and ask them where your work permit is, or ask them for your work permit. You can also use the Ask Emma button online and just request it and see if that will help them speed up the process. Okay. Nook Bazin says, Damien, stay away from Florida right now. Exactly. Stay away from Florida, honestly. My friend wants to know if it will be too late by June 1st to file his paperwork in Florida. No. So the rule in Florida is not stopping you from filing for adjustment of status. So let me be very clear about that. Because they've passed an anti-immigration law. They are trying to discourage people from crossing the border, entering into the country undocumented. But make no mistakes, you are still eligible based on federal law to apply for adjustment of status or to apply for an immigration benefit if you qualify, regardless of when you file it, whether it's in June, July, August, September, whatever. What we, a lot of us as counselors or as attorneys, are telling people is, if you live in Florida, you just want to be careful, because even though, let's say you came into this country with a visa, for instance, and you've overstayed your visa, even though technically you did not cross the border, you did not enter undocumented. Meaning, when the rules specifically say when you're thinking of undocumented, meaning there was no port of entry that documented your entry into the United States. No custom and border, whether it's by sea, by land, by air, right? So if you came in with a visa, technically you're safe. However, the thing about rules like this is sometimes you can get caught up in all the drama, meaning until like a case of mistaken identity. So the whole thing is you just need to be prepared to be able to say, to present yourself, to present your rights and all of that stuff. That's why I did that Know Your Rights post. Again, you can just write this down. It's called Red Card, Immigration Red Card. Google Immigration Red Card. Go and download it. Go and print it out. Have a copy with you at all times if you live in Florida, just so that you know what your rights are as an immigrant. That's the most important thing. I do have to jump off, guys. Oh my goodness. There are just so many questions that I didn't get to, and I'm so sorry I couldn't get to all your questions. You can schedule a consult with me, or you can just bring it back on the next live, and I'll be happy to address it. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.